Right now, we're waiting because we don't have a quorum. We have a 5-member board and 4 members require for a quorum. The governor has left the chairperson of this body, usually the regional director of DEC, vacant for the last 7 months. So unless all the other members show up, we don't have a quorum. And right now, Southampton is represented, the county is represented, Brookhaven is represented, and we're waiting for Riverhead to come. If they make it, we have a meeting. If they don't, we don't have a quorum. And I'll start our meeting off the way I've started the last 2 or 3 meetings, urging the governor to appoint the regional director of the DEC. Region 1, which is Nassau Suffolk, has been without a regional director for more than 7 months.
Stand and for the pledge of allegiance. Supervisor, would you like to lead the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, just would like to inform those present that this meeting is actually being recorded. And we will be putting it on our website for viewing for future public's interest. I'd like to start off the agenda under administrative and public comment. Does anyone here would like to provide or present public comment at this time? Yes.
Michael White.
Michael White.
Thank you very much. My name is Michael White. I'm with Winters Brothers Waste Systems of Long Island and Brookhaven Rail. Winters is the largest solid waste management and recycling company on Long Island, and Brookhaven Rail, which is an affiliate of Winters, is a short line railroad licensed to operate by the United States Surface Transportation Board. First, I want to say congratulations to Ms. Jacobson. It's a position well deserved. I'm sure you do very, very well. And I came here today to actually say that you are absolutely spot on with your comments that I read in the paper recently regarding concerns about illegal dumping. So disposal capacity for solid waste, municipal solid waste, which is trash, and also construction and demolition debris, is already a crisis on Long Island. Thousands of tons of waste are already shipped off of Long Island each day, almost all by truck. Long Island generates more and more waste every year, and the cost to manage these wastes increase every year. When the Brookhaven landfill closes in about 3 years or so, the crisis will worsen with an additional approximately 750,000 tons per year construction and demolition looking for a disposal site. Unfortunately, unless decisive and immediate action is taken, there is little doubt that the lack of disposal capacity on Long Island will result in increased illegal dumping, as Ms. Jacobson has mentioned in her comments. The solid waste industry has supported increased law enforcement and penalties with respect to illegal dumping, and we will continue to do so. It is important to have a level playing field. Companies like ours make every effort to operate in compliant in an environmentally sound manner. The cost to do so are part of the cost of doing business. But the answer to the problem of illegal dumping is to address it at its source, the lack of disposal capacity on Long Island. The industry is working to provide the necessary environmental infrastructure to manage societal waste. We continue to work to increase capacity to manage recyclables. Brookhaven Rail and Winters Brothers are working to develop a solid waste rail transfer facility in Yaphank with the capability to move waste off Long Island by rail to off-island disposal facilities. The facility is anticipated to take approximately 60,000 long-haul trucks annually off the road, our already congested and aging infrastructure and bridges and roadways, as well as improve air quality, a clear alternative to illegal dumping. We continue to hope that the powers that came together to form this commission to protect essential habitat, open space, and our drinking water will create an opportunity to address Long Island's solid waste management crisis. And I want to thank Supervisor Romaine for his continued leadership on this issue and for the opportunity to work with the town of Brookhaven. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to provide public comment at this time? So on the next agenda item, actually, I'd like Janet to come up. Janet, on behalf of the commission, we're very pleased and proud to present you with this plaque, this award of merit. And it reads, presented with grateful appreciation to Janet M. Longo, Suffolk County Real Property Acquisition Supervisor, in honor and recognition of her many years of extraordinary service and expertise in land acquisition that ensures the perpetual preservation of open space, the protection of farmland and other lands in Suffolk County, and her dedicated service and contributions as a designated representative and former commission staff environmental analyst, presented this day by the Central Pine Barrens Joint Planning and Policy Commission. Oh, thank you so much. Sure.
The town has a proclamation, which I'm not going to give Janet now, but we have it prepared. And Annette is telling me why, because we're having a little luncheon for Janet next week.
Oh, wow.
And when those people get together, I'm going to present it there. But clearly, Janet, I've worked with Janet for many years. Not only was I supervisor, but before that, for several years as a county legislator from the first district. And I can tell you that the first district, I think we bought more land than the other 17 districts combined. So we were very active. And I worked with her when I was county clerk as well for many years. So I've known Janet. She's a true professional. A lot when you drive around Suffolk and you don't see houses or buildings or roads, but you see trees and open space and farms. A lot of that has to do with this young lady here. She has done a great job in helping save what's left in Suffolk County. And I just wanted to say that at the commission meeting. Janet, God bless you.
Thank you.
I just want to speak as well on behalf of Southampton Town Supervisor Jay Schneiderman. I want to thank Janet for her many years of dedication. Janet has worked very closely with us over the years on land preservation. It's made a tremendous difference in our town and throughout the county. There aren't a lot of people like Janet who are as dedicated as she is. It's rewarding for me even to travel around and see those areas that have been preserved, thanks to Janet. So we all can't thank you enough. Our quality of life is so much better, and the county is so much better because of this. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of my boss, Steve Malone, County Executive, as well, to just make the observation, because Janet has been honored this past Monday by the county legislature, but the enormous gaping talent hole that's going to be left, this void when she leaves next week, is unfillable. One can only hope that there will be some who can, at least in some meager way, step in and come marginally close to the kind of work that you've done, Janet. Fantastic. And not only that, the most fit staff member, I believe, in all of the county. No question about it. Anyway, thanks, Janet. You're great. Love you.
I'd just like to say, Janet, for my 14 years, I work with you on and off. You've always been a wonderful voice of reason and consensus. And I think we all appreciate that over the years. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Sensible.
Okay.
Sensible. So moving on to item 1C on the agenda, the minutes from the January 16th meeting. Does anyone have any corrections on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion is not. Oh.
I thought you were gonna do.
No, the motion was unanimously approved. Okay, item 1D, the draft commission meeting schedule that's been provided in your e-packet. It has the commission meeting locations on it. I need a motion to approve the meeting schedule.
Excuse me, before the motion, can I just ask, on Riverhead's date for November 17th, did you got approval through the town? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, could I get a motion to approve the meeting schedule?
Motion.
And a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion unanimously passed. Item 1E, the commission budget. You've been provided a draft resolution to approve the commission budget for the fiscal year 2021, 2022. Does anyone have any questions?
I make a motion, to move to the commission budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Item 2, under science and stewardship, the 2A, NYLEMA update based on the Spring Academy, that actually got delayed till June. Miss Malangoni, hopefully that's pronounced properly.
Very good, very good, yes. And just so I don't confuse anyone, yes, formerly known as Catherine Delegati is now Catherine Malangoni, that's me. Good to see you all. Obviously, because of COVID 2020, Academy, both spring and some fall, were canceled. So spring 2021, we were able to hold in June. We held 3 classes. I kept it on the smaller side, just, to proceed with caution in these in numbers. It was very successful. We had a breaststroke training course where we trained all of part of Bayshore Fire Department, where we had 17 members go through the awareness, which is the classroom portion, and then 16 out of those 17 went and drove the course. So that was a full day, and it was well received. Then we had the S212, which is the Wildland Fire Chainsaw class, where we had a total of 18 students from a number of different agencies. And then the S339, which was the division group supervisor class that we had 12 students attend from a number of different agencies. So that all went off well. We held it over at the Holiday Inn in Holtzville, which the accommodations were well, because we're not able to get into Brookhaven National Lab. So moving on to the Fall Academy, I'm moving ahead with the full schedule, a little less than normally held number of classes. We're holding 20 we have scheduled. Most of half of them are the standard traditional classes that the Academy normally holds, and then we're offering a few different specialty classes that haven't been held in a good number of years. So we're putting those out there. Right now, the location has not been determined because Brookhaven Lab has not got permission to open up. So I'm waiting on an answer from them eventually, but I'm working on an alternate location. So it's in the works and we're proceeding forward to hopefully have a full academy again. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Item 2B, Education and Outreach Division. Melissa, Ms. Perot is not present today. She is actually working at the Barrens to Bay Summer Camp. You have been provided a copy of her bi-monthly report in the e-packet. Hopefully we'll see her the next time these reports are due. Item 2C, Science and Stewardship Division, Ms. Wiegand.
Hello, nice to see everyone in person. Finally, after a long year and a half. So I want to take the opportunity to introduce our ecological field specialists, both Sabrina Cohen, who has just recently joined us, replacing Broderick. She started with us in June and was our intern last summer for our forest health monitoring program. So Sabrina came on in June and we she's rolled right into field activities that we've been participating in as an asset to that internship. And then Jade Leno has been with us since February of last year, but because of COVID, we weren't able to formally introduce her to you in person, so I want to take that opportunity. So ladies, yeah. So welcome, Sabrina and Jade. So they're a real asset to our program. They're on with us on a part-time basis, but permanently. And they run the majority of the field work that we have going on. So Jade and Sabrina both participated in the S212 SAW class, which is one of the spring classes run through NAMIMA, and they both successfully completed that and have been actively participating in southern pine beetle survey and other invasive species surveys, and put their skills through the S212 class, the SAW class, right to work the next following week after they got their certification. So I just wanted to introduce them to you and also have them the opportunity to experience the commission meetings and be in a meeting rather than in the field listening to them remotely. So some of the other work that we've been doing in Science and Stewardship, obviously the field season, we're extremely busy. We did take the time to have a Protected Lands Council meeting that we held remotely. It was well attended. We had only over 50 participants, and we had a diversity of presenters touch base on providing updates on invasive species, on our forest health programming, on the prescribed fire management programming, and invasive species work. And it really serves as a platform to have us work together and touch base with each of our partners and try to collaborate on the different activities that we need to we identify as priorities moving forward. So for the prescribed fire program, we, in securing our insurance for the program, have moved forward with purchasing equipment. So Sean will be introducing the resolution that is before you for purchasing the UTV units and the slide-on pump units for those. We're also moving forward with providing, sourcing the other equipment and materials that we need related to PPE and hoses and engine and things like that. Moving forward as far as the fire programming. We've been very successful and engaged in conducting education outreach. We met with the Ridge Fire Department earlier this week to introduce to them the prescribed fire programs. We have Brian Gallagher, who's the forest ranger locally and the burn boss for DEC. We met with the chief of Ridge Fire Department and their officers and introduced the program, and that was very well received and supported. And the outgrowth of that is they're going to help us with some additional outreach to the public. And we'll be participating in the national night out that the Sheriff's Department is hosting on August 3rd at the in Ridge. So our next education outreach programs is meeting with the Middle Island Fire Department, and they're collaborating with inviting other fire departments from the area to participate in that meeting. So we'll have greater outreach and efficiency in reaching them. And talking about the program. And we're also meeting with civic associations, and we're giving some library presentations on the fire program. And this is critically important because different than New Jersey, where New Jersey has an active fire program, fire is part of the culture. And so we want to help instill the understanding of the fire ecology and the fire dependent ecosystem and how prescribed fire relates to improving public safety. So doing this outreach is important to helping the public be aware that we're doing the operations and get more comfortable that they're occurring in a safe and prescribed manner, and that when they smell smoke, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a wildfire, and then giving them the resources to identify where those operations are occurring. Moving to the burn plans, we have gotten the technical review on the Sarnoff West, that's on the western side of 104 and CR 31, where it's a 1,700 acre burn plan. So once that's is the final internal review that will go to the state for their review. So we'll hope to have that approved for operations this spring. And then Bob, our burn boss and fire management specialist, has been very active continuing to develop the burn plan for the dwarf pine barrens on the western side on the state lands for that as well. So those are moving right along, and that's critically important to allow us to implement the prescribed fire program. Other forest health related items, besides southern pine beetle, we're actively engaged in monitoring for Viburnum dilatanum. It's a linden viburnum. We're finding more and more that the non-native viburnums are becoming invasive and escaping from horticultural plantings. So we found a large infestation in Hampton Bays of swamp area on the western side of the Hampton Bays cloverleaf that has moved south of Sunrise Highway and east into the cloverleaf. So we're working with DOT to get permissions to manage that. And then we're also working with ag and markets and the prisms, the invasive species programs, to help monitor for spotted lanternfly. That is a emerging invasive species that is been found in Staten Island as an infestation. And we're working to monitor grid squares that have been identified as high risk for populations of Atlantis. That's its, the host tree, the tree that grows in Brooklyn is the other name for it. So we're working to monitor those in South Haven County Park in the campground, in the picnic areas where Atlantis is known and where there's a high likelihood of people to bring in firewood or other materials related to those activities. And then we're also working with the town of Southampton to monitor both the Hampton Bays and West Hampton transfer stations. And in that regard, there's a resolution that I will discuss once we get there about the whole harmless agreement to facilitate that monitoring for spotted lanternfly and caper spurge, which is another invasive species. And then lastly, we just continue to be diligent in a encroachment issue to finalize the restoration plan, and hopefully that will be settled and we can move forward with getting judgment on that, so we can move to the civil penalty phase and get the restoration moving with the support. We're very busy. Does anyone have a question?
Thank you, Polly. So moving right to the next item, 2D, the draft resolution to approve the agreement between the commission and Town of Southampton related to the town transfer station. It's a hold harmless agreement that Polly had just briefly mentioned. And if you provide additional information.
Sure. So we've been monitoring for caper spurge on the Hampton Bays transfer station. It's an emerging invasive plant that's found in, there's just a couple sites on Long Island. So we've been working to help the town eradicate that plant species. And we approached the town to also monitor for spotted lanternfly on the Atlantis populations, not only at the transfer station, but in the parklands surrounding. And we were asked to provide a hold harmless agreement. It's definitely a high hazard site. We do provide safety training and information to our staff and notify the town in advance that they would like to move forward with a hold harmless agreement to facilitate the use, our access, and monitoring and management of the caper spurge and the monitoring and spotted lanternfly.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the draft resolution as written.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Would this be where I asked you something? I just had another comment related to this,
Okay.
so I don't know. But in this regard, Marty, I think it would be opportunistic. I wanted to get this motion passed, but move forward with a larger agreement, MOU with the town related to the Tri-Fire and other stewardship activities, because the activities that we're doing extend beyond the transfer stations. So I would like to move that forward if that would be possible.
Great,
The town would be able to do
absolutely.
that.
So one question I have, Polly, and that is, what measures are you deploying to eradicate various invasives?
Well, for caper spurge, we go, especially during the active growing season, between every 2 weeks to a month, and monitor and handful, especially when the caper spurge is small. It's a U form, and it has this milky, waxy, very toxic sap. Then if you get it on your skin, it can cause blistering and burning. It can get in your eyes and cause ulceration and corneal abrasions. So we have our staff wear eye protection, they wear gloves, we have eye wash on hand, and other PPE in doing the eradication. It seems to be moved by mammals, small mammals, probably rodents. So we're finding it spreading, but we're also containing it. So we are trying to pull it before it gets large and in seed, because then you don't have to bag it. You don't have to break the stems to get it into a bag to contain the seed. So those are the measures that we're taking for caper spurge. For spotted lanternfly, it would be an early detection monitoring, and we're waiting for guidance from ag and markets as far as what measures they would be taking the lead on for management of spotted lanternfly. Unfortunately, I think spotted lanternfly, it's gonna arrive, it's a matter of when. I don't think that eradication is possible due to its large extent and infestation in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. It's just a matter of time. So getting it, monitoring it as soon as possible and containing it or suppressing the population as we're doing with southern pine beetle is gonna be the action that's taken for that invasive species.
One of the things that I learned that I didn't know previously is while the primary host plant is non-native Atlantis tree having, the spotted lanternfly can also feed on grape. And so there is concern about if we do have a major occurrence of spotted lanternfly, that it could impact the wine grape growers on the east end. So that's another reason why early detection and monitoring is so important.
It also affects like apples and other palm fruits, as well as leaf hops. So if you're a beer aficionado, you have a negative impact from there. But then you also think about the effect that it would have on the native plant populations as well, the cherries. It produces from its excrement a very sugary like dew, and that causes sooty mold to grow on it that reduces the effectiveness of the plant to photosynthesize, and also facilitates some other diseases to develop on the plant, so reduces the plant health. And it, for agriculture, it reduces marketable product. So it's a large concern, and so with the transfer stations, especially that they're getting a lot of materials moving in, that's where the caper spurge came from, but they're also moving materials out, whether it's through direct waste or it's through their compost and mulch. So the caper spurge in particular is highly important for eradication, so that it's not getting into the compost and then being spread through the rest of the town for those homeowners that take that material, businesses that utilize it.
So Judy, on this, I know you have a motion, you have a second. I believe I've read this. No, I've read it. I don't like the wording of the whole harmless. So I'm going to suggest that it should say, instead of I.G. Jacobson allows execution, it should be the commission acting by and through Judy Jacobson as executive director. I don't want you personally making any promises since I'm something. So with that one modification,
So why don't we change the language?
yeah, with that one change.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
As amended.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
and a
apologize.
second,
That's okay.
thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Carly. The next item under science and stewardship, item 2E, is the draft resolution to purchase utility terrain vehicles and water pumping apparatus for the prescribed fire program. The resolution was provided in your e-packet, and I assume Mr. Ziegler is going to.
Yeah, I'll defer to Sean.
I make a motion to approve the resolution, the draft resolution presented.
Do I have a second?
Thanks.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. The next item is item 2F, draft resolution for the commission to authorize the purchase of 8 replacement tires by the Law Enforcement Council for 2 ATVs operated by the Suffolk County Park Rangers. This would be using environmental benefit fund monies and not commission. It's not coming out of the commission budget.
Make a motion to approve the draft resolution as submitted.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Okay. Item 2G, draft resolution for the commission to authorize the purchase of 1 all-terrain vehicle by the Law Enforcement Council for the town of Southampton Police. Also would be using environmental benefit fund money. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passed unanimously. So now we have under item 3, planning, land use, and the Pine Barrens credit program, our report outs, our bi-monthly report outs. Item 3A, compliance and enforcement division, Mr. Mazzio.
Well, we continue to be very, very busy. Year to date, we have 30 complaints, 19 unlawful dumping complaints, and that's really where we're getting the bulk of our work. As was discussed earlier, we're getting a lot more dumping on the side of the road, in hidden spots, and that's where our camera program is really coming in handy. We've lost a couple of them, people are getting wise once they get fined. We can get a little, I'm gonna go back and steal your camera, now you got me. It's inevitable that we find out that we have a camera there, that's how we get nailed. And the LEC has really been pivotal in helping solve a lot of these cases. The troopers, the rangers, and we had a couple of cases where we couldn't identify a vehicle's plate. Just going to the LEC meeting and giving them pictures of the vehicle, people see them on the road, because some of them are pretty distinctive and they make cases that way. So it's really valuable having that connection. Yeah, the packet, I'll just give you some of the highlights. We just finished a case with the DEC for the property quorum. We covered $35,000 in fines. I think that was solar. We are working with this Water Authority IT division to develop a new tracking software so that we can better track our cases and keep more accounting of fines and working with Judy to put a fee schedule together, a standardized schedule of fines for dumping. That's more consistent for each case. Still working on the drone program, and we have a summer intern who's helping us out a lot. That's that. Jim, the drone program, could you elaborate on the status? Are you actually physically using the drones? We are. I passed my pilot test fairly. Tim is a pilot as well, Sean and Polly are both pilots. We went out when they did one of their last control burns. We were flying a little bit over that. And we're hoping to use it a lot more aggressively, but we're still waiting on case law that's governing, when and where you can fly over for investigations. And that's still being developed.
Are we still using civil air patrol to assist in locating dumping sites that may not be readily, seen from roadways?
Actually, I don't think we have been really coordinated with them.
We used to in years past.
Okay, yeah, I can speak to Tim about that. We made it, maybe that we are, and I just wasn't aware that Tim was doing that.
Yeah, because they'll go out there on a volunteer basis and run some flight patterns that will take them over the Pine Barrens to see if they spot any dumping or other illegal activity and report it back.
And Jed just bought another ATV. Those ATV details as well are doing a lot of all legwork for us. They come upon a lot of dumps that we can't find.
Right.
Because they're back in the list. So
Absolutely.
LiDAR is the next step.
what's that?
LiDAR.
Yeah.
That'll enable you to visualize every mound, everything that's in there, whether it's
Because people would just, it's getting ridiculous. I just had a boat dumped on North Weeks. Guy pulled up, tied the boat engine to a telephone pole, drove away. It was still attached. He just left the boat on the side of the road. So people were pretty gross.
Item 3B, land use division. Ms. Hargrave.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It is really nice to see everyone in person again. You have my report. I'll just give you some highlights. Next month, the commission has a public hearing scheduled for the Sunrise Wind project, which you've received a compelling public need application for that proposal. And that's the offshore wind farm with the onshore cable in the town of Brookhaven. And there'll be some clearing in the lower portion of South Haven County Park. That's why we submitted the hardship application. We are doing the research on the which the commission requested, and we'll be providing that to you in the upcoming meetings, September, I believe. And we have some referrals, of course, from the towns. The Woods at Hampton Bays is one in Southampton, a big subdivision that's being finalized. And the proposal for the nighttime lighting at the Hampton West Park was withdrawn. So that's
that's no longer being considered. And, the 7-Eleven consent order that was completed in Middle Island, they've completed their restoration as required by the commission for their over clearing incident that occurred there. So that was satisfactory in accordance with their plan. And that's basically all for now. We have an intern that sort of Melissa and is working with, and we're also working in the land use division. She's sort of sharing her. So she's with Melissa for a while, and she's been going out with me and looking at some site inspections and getting familiar with the Pine Barrens. She really is a third year going into Stony Brook for sustainability. So she's not really, I think, sure what she wants to do yet. Isn't really familiar with flora and fauna. So trying to just give her an introduction to the Pine Barrens, which is nice. That's about all I have for now.
Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Julie. Okay, item 3C, credit program, Jerry.
Good afternoon, everyone. So to give you a brief update on the credit program activities we had so far in this year. We had issued 26 letters of interpretation, 6 in town of Brookhaven, 2 in town of Riverhead, and 18 in town of Southampton. 4 parcels have been added to the program, which generated 0.58 credits for them in town of Southampton. Currently, we're working on 8 conservation easements, and one of them is due to be approved later today. Quine Facility LLC. 45.8 credits have been redeemed, most of them in town of Brookhaven by the town requirement for residential additional density project. 10 credits have been conveyed. The average price is this year 84,000 per credit. The average price is a little bit lower in town of Riverhead and a little bit higher, in the town of Southampton. That's usually the case. We have visited 67 properties this year and installed 37 conservation easement signs. At the Conic Riverhead Sportsman Club, as part of the consent order remedies, restoration project have started, and approximately 4,000 trees have been planted already. The completion of the revegetation is expected to happen this fall, with additional 3,000 trees that's supposed to be planted in different areas. The commission received Sound Capital LLC request to purchase 9.65 credits. And the Fair House still owns 10.19 credits. And this item is on agenda also today. In terms of financial reports, there's still $2.5 million in the bank. And the interest filled up for this year was $1,200 so far. So I have any questions?
Thank you, Jerry. Item 3D under core preservation area, Town of Southampton CBA referral, the Hampton West nighttime sports lighting. Julie?
Thank you. Yes, on July 8th, the commission received a letter from the Parks Department in Southampton that was written to the ZBA to withdraw their proposal to install nighttime lighting. From what we understand is the town is looking for other facilities outside of the dwarf pine greens and outside of the core, which we won't be seeing any other information on this one.
Yeah, just for the commission's information, we're looking at alternative sites close to the West Hampton Middle School. They have softball fields and athletic fields, and we had acquired 3 parcels of disturbed open space adjacent to the school facilities. So appears to be an excellent alternative site where there would be no concerns, no environmental impacts. And it's outside, wholly outside of the central condo.
Item 3E under compatible growth area. Town of Brookhaven CBA referral, Villa Fox subdivision, corner Ryerson and Darcy Avenues in Manorville.
Thank you. There's a draft letter in the package responding to this CBA referral for in a 2-lot subdivision in Manorville. The property is the 35,000 square feet in total, and it's in the 2-acre zoning district. So there are 2 lots, 2 tax parcels right now. The issue is that they've been merged because of common ownership, and that means they're looking to unmerge them again. The problem is that they do not conform to not only zoning, but the minimum lot area of 2 acres, where one is 19,000 square feet and the other is 16,000 square feet. But they don't conform to the plan standards, including the clearing limit, which only allows 35%, and they're proposing there's 75%. One of the lots is vacant and wooded, and the other one is developed in a house and cleared about 80%. But at the end of this project, it would require a significant amount of clearing on the vacant lot, and it would exceed the clearing limit as it's proposed now. So we have a response to see maybe they can revise the project to conform or apply for a hardship. And we've seen this situation on other projects in the area where 2 lots predated the act, but they've been merged due to common ownership. And someone is looking to unmerge them to sell off one of the lots. And now, since the Farmingville Act has come along, it applies the clearing standard among other standards, and it doesn't conform. So that hardship looks to be
I move we send a draft response.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Under item 3F, credit program, Equine Facility LLC Conservation Easement, 20 North Street in Manorville.
Thank you, Judy. So for this item, we have prepared the final draft of the easement for the Equine Facility LLC property. This is the horse farm in the Manorville area on North Street. The property was introduced to the commission members at our previous meeting in more details. As of now, it's like a follow-up just to have the easement to be approved before it has to be signed. And it's already been agreed with Mr. Barrens, the representative of Equine Facility LLC. The only thing that we're still waiting for is updated survey. So we expect him to receive it very soon. And you have received it, right, the draft easement?
I move we approve the draft easement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Next item, 3G, Ridge Gospel Church Conservation Easement on Leaf Lane and Middle Country Road in Ridge. Involves proposal to relocate sheds onto an easement property. This discussion this request is related to an enforcement matter involving another parcel that is also owned by the church. And therefore, I would recommend that this discussion continues in executive session that is held at the end of the meeting.
Move at the end of the meeting that we move into executive session to discuss the issues concerning Ridge Gospel Church.
Is there a second? Well, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we have to look at that. Sorry.
So when we're waiting for Dan, just out of curiosity, I had to take out my calculator when you said you had 2 million on hand and that the interest that you realized from that account was $1,200.
Yeah,
That's
all we
like some outrageously infinitesimal percentage. It sounds like a rate that the Fed would give to its most privileged customer for lending the money, but it doesn't really sound like much of a savings rate for anything. Is there any?
It's the county treasurer's holding the money for the commission, and they're investing it pursuant to your guidelines. So it's like it's
pursuant to
account secure, collateralized movements. The last several months, it's 0 interest. Fed rate is 0.
Right.
That's what we're getting. There was a day we used to get 2 or 3%.
Not
We
anymore.
generate, yes, we generate money. It's just, it's in municipal bonds, like federal bond.
Gosh, I'm glad my personal investment is doing better than
No.
I think they're in 0.
that. Unless you're betting on the Mets or the Jets.
In your absence, we made a motion to consider Ridge Gospel Church.
Yeah, 0.1%.
We needed your return.
No, it's point
Okay, and we had a second
0.00006%. It's like
That was for the
six,
first-
six, 1%.
Yeah, it's 0.1% for the first 6 months.
Okay, going back to the motion on Ridge Gospel to discuss during exec section, that was seconded by Dorian. All in favor?
Aye.
Any, I guess there's no further discussion, I guess.
No, we in
All in
executive session.
favor, and it's unanimously approved. The next item, 3H Sound Capital LLC, request to purchase 9.65 Barrens credits from the commission for an approved PDD in Brookhaven. I guess Sound Capital has provided additional information with regard to their attempt to obtain credits. At this point, additional discussion probably should occur concerning whether the commission is interested in considering holding an auction to sell the credits. However, I recommend that continued discussion of this matter occurs in executive session since it involves a discussion related to credits and credit value.
We require that, I assume. License to that.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to consider this item during executive session.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously.
Excuse me.
And I did skip over the last public comment. I'm sorry, South Capital
Yes.
does have representatives here. I apologize. Would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. My name is Jimmy Tunis, and the parcel that we're seeking the Pine Barren credits has been rezoned to a PDD. It's been a piece of property that's been out there for quite a while. We understand that the commission tried to auction off the property or the Pine Barren credits in March or you authorized it in March of 2019 to sell these credits. And we're just hoping that we could buy them, because the market right now to try to buy these credits from the people that are holding them, they're holding us up, you know, for ransom. It's crazy that the numbers that they're asking. And additionally, I would ask, what prompted the commission to sell or to auction off the credits in 2019, and what has possibly has changed that would influence your decision not to sell these Farmingville credits?
John, you answer that, please.
So thank you for your public comment.
That's,
There's no answer to that.
But it's an opportunity for you to address the board, and we appreciate your comments, and the commission has expressed an interest to receive attorney-client privilege communication in a closed session about this item, and that's how they wish to proceed.
Okay, I just had a question.
Yeah, no, and I understand that, but again, it's not a dialogue, it's an opportunity for you to provide comment to the commission, which you have.
Okay, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
does anyone else want to provide public comment on, under the second part of the meeting agenda? So we'll be moving into closed advisory section, executive session. So I need a motion to close the public portion of the meeting to move
So
into
moved.
second.
But we anticipate having to
I
come back
would-
into the
We
regular
will
meeting.
not be returning to public session, right, John?
No. I make a motion, we move into executive session, after which we come out of executive section and conduct no further business and adjourn the entire meeting.
You can make that.
You can adjourn it
now.
Okay.
I'll second that, whatever.
Whichever way you want to do it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passed unanimously. Thank you all for attending today. We will